Right, welcome back. Let's go back to our chat now. The African World Heritage Fund marking 20 years this year. We're joined by Dr. Albino Jopela, of course, Executive Director at the AWHF. Dr. Jopela, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the SABC as we obviously celebrate this milestone alongside you. Talk to us about the establishment of the organization way back when, what the problems were that needed to be solved, and obviously how representation has come to the fore over the past 20 years.
Thank you. So the African World Heritage Fund was created by both the Africa Union and the UNESCO in 2006, primarily to address the key challenges that the African continent faced at the time, which some of them still persist. The first was the fact that despite the African continent being known for its rich cultural and natural heritage, for instance, we are known as the cradle of humankind, with exceptional places such as the pyramids in Egypt, as you can see in my background, the Mapungubwe cultural landscape in South Africa. But still, the representation of this vast and rich heritage was very limited on the global stage in the case of the UNESCO World Heritage Convention. In addition, as you mentioned in your introduction, the challenges created by environmental and climate pressures, but also the resourcing into the safeguarding of heritage meant that a number of those very important sites for humanity were actually placed on the list of World Heritage in danger. So it was in the combination of not only to address those challenges, but also to raise the awareness amongst not only decision makers, but also the primary custodian of this heritage, which are the communities that live within and around the sites, about the significance of those sites, not only for the sustainable development, but also for the generation of sustainable livelihoods for those same communities. So that basically has been the mission of the fund, to try and help African governments to change the narrative and the image of the continent by promoting its very own natural and cultural heritage.
Dr. Jopela, thank you for those opening remarks. And you painted that succinct picture, because we're looking at the progress over the past 20 years, the gaps that still exist, even the notion around the narratives, to your point, where heritage preservation often competes with urgent social priorities. That includes healthcare, that includes climate change at this point, and also education. How do you make the case to governments that investing in heritage sites also contributes to economic development, tourism, job creation along the value chain?
So one important notion to clarify is that heritage is never in competition with any of the primary development goals. So heritage is an essential for education, the sense of pride and citizenship, but also for any development strategy that aim to be sustainable. So the investment in heritage is not only in terms of thinking of creating jobs through tourism and creative industries, but also the issue of regional integration, social cohesion, peace and security. It all rests on cultural understanding, but also the preservation of our environment. So the safeguarding of heritage is at the very essence of any development strategy, as the experiences around the world have shown. So, for instance, if you look at countries such as China, you will see is have over 50 sites on the World Heritage list, the same as countries in Western Europe, such as Italy. But the key message is that it's not just the listing of sites, but is what that listing represents in terms of pride, identity, but also as a great lever for sustainable development. And
Thank
that is
you.
basically the message that we try to portray.
And that message is crystal clear, and thank you for that. And this is how we assert ourselves, by redefining those narratives, especially when you use words like compete, and that's not what obviously is happening when it comes to highlighting heritage. So thank you for that. Perhaps even looking at addressing, the work that needs to be done. We're at the African Union Heads of State summit that's happening this week. Your president, through your patron, the president of Cabo Verde, what specifically are you asking for them for this edition? What kind of political, what kind of financial commitments would you like to really see as the African World Heritage Fund landscape takes on this next chapter, 20 years and beyond as well?
So over the past 20 years, the African World Heritage Fund has essentially shown that through partnership and commitment between the fund, but also its stakeholders, governments, and communities, we can really push to change the heritage landscape of Africa. For instance, when the fund was created, the continent only had over 100 sites, and now we are with 154, but also the number of sites that were in danger that were now recuperated and removed. So we have a very positive experience, not only of addressing those challenges, but also of upskilling heritage professionals and community members in the process, for over 1,000 that have been through our capacity building program. So the message to the heads of state and the leaders through our patron and also our supporting state parties is that we have in the next decade to increase the support through a sustainable financing, not only of the African World Heritage Fund, but essentially of the agenda of heritage preservation, but also focusing on anchoring the strategies for climate resilience and also some other challenges such as youth unemployment, that heritage provides a very effective and resourceful platform. And this is basically very important for us to tap into this potential and to invest in Africa's heritage moving forward.
Sure. What milestones you have completed over the past 20 years. Heritage sites upgraded from 100 to 150, 20-year milestone. Over 50 countries have benefited with over $20 million. That work must be done well with all of us in mind, and it continues. So we'll leave our conversation there and wish you and the organization all the best as you navigate this next chapter for the next 20 years and beyond. Executive Director at the African World Heritage Fund, Dr. Albino Jopela, weighing in memory, identity, economic potential, and why that's imperative when it comes to heritage at large. And they obviously enter their third decade. So we'll leave it there for now. And again, thank you to him for joining us at this hour.